chim đa phẩu.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Holy moly, chim đa phẩu.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it. The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems.
They have been building up. Welcome to the Monday edition of the King's Court. We are on the road, but set up better than we were before. How's the audio? Much better. You like it? Broadcasting from parts unknown. And it has been a while since we have aired grievances, but I have some grievances to get off of my chest. Everybody turning to tonight, the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Knicks 2 games away. Think about that. 2 games away from being NBA champions again. Can the Spurs turn it around? What do you think? Is there, let me ask this, and actually, the prices have plummeted over the last 18 hours, I want to say, for tickets to this one. And I got to know, is there any single event that you would pay $20,000 plus to get into? One single event. It's not like 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's not an experience. Is there one event that you would pay $27,000 to get into? Holler at me. Let me know. If you got a grievance, let me know. We're going to get to your chats here in a second. Check it out. We're back tonight, post-game coverage with Grant. Looking forward to getting that going. If you see me looking down, that's because we are running sound drops through the phone. So we've got everything set up to be here for the next couple days, and then we'll be back in the studio on Wednesday for Jerry Reynolds Wednesday. Certainly looking forward to that. One of my favorite days of the week. Tragic news, sad news over the weekend. Hated to see this. This guy had energy that was like unrivaled, unmatched. Stacey King passed away, unfortunately, way too early. At the age of 59, if you don't know Stacey King, longtime basketball player, excelled in college, had a great NBA career. Most recently has been the broadcaster, the analyst for the Chicago Bulls, and he's given us some really memorable moments, fun moments like this.
Elizabeth, I'm going down, Elizabeth. Oh, Lord. You big dummy. You big
There's my poster machine. Wemby. When Kobe White. Oh, by the way, Scott Perry, Kobe White. Vivek, Kobe White. Can we get Kobe White? Unfortunately, 59. Way too soon for Stacey King. Way too soon. So we'll do the rundown. And NCAA. Max started me on the NCAA last week. And it is no surprise today that the NCAA is even a bigger fraud than it was going into the weekend. Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech quarterback, who placed thousands of bets, thousands, on his own team, on other teams. The NCAA ruled him ineligible. Well, today, a district judge in Lubbock has put an injunction in place, a preliminary/temporary injunction, which allows Sorsby to return to his team with a little caveat. So we'll get into that as the show goes. You know how I feel if you've been here before about the NCAA, and this just feels like the last straw. It really does. And maybe this gets blocked. Maybe the NCAA takes it to another court of appeals. But I'll get into that in a few minutes. Also want to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, which quite frankly have been the most bipolar and best of my lifetime. I mean, you can't turn the game off. If you turn the game off, you're going to be shocked when you turn it back on. The swings in these games, if there were ever two teams that deserved an extra day off after 3 games, it's those two. It's the Canes, it's the Golden Knights. They had a day off yesterday, which was a weird day, right? It was kind of like projecting what our lives are going to look like coming up about late June, early July, where we really only have baseball. Us sickos here in Sacramento are going to be locked in to Summer League. But we had no NBA yesterday. We had no NHL. Like, what did you do? I turned to baseball. I mean, the Giants and the Cubs. Oh, my gosh. You got me watching the Giants and the Cubs this early in the baseball season. You know something's wrong. So let's get to the chat, see how everybody's doing. Again, don't forget Grant and I coming back tonight. Looking forward to that. Okay, I understand this is going to be show fodder today. We can have fun with this, but I trust all of you because this is not a political show. In fact, I am usually the last guy to get political, but I'm kind of bent if I am going to that game, if I spent that money to get into that game, because you don't know what to expect with security. You might get there as early as you possibly can, and you might not get into your seat before the game starts. Hopefully it's done orderly. Hopefully the attention is on the floor and not the stands. But look, you're either going to have Donald Trump saying stuff like
Little
this,
guy, actually.
courtside,
Looks like a nice little guy, actually.
or he's going to be sending the Spurs home.
Go home to mommy.
Go home to mommy. So, yeah, look, the players wanted no part of this. The coaches wanted no part of this when they were asked about it during availability yesterday. Peter did create a World Cup thing for us, so I need to get that link in. Sorry, Peter, I was getting my temporary studio set up. Notice Haunted Horse. If you're in the house, my man, everything running off Mac, everything clean, everything looking good. We've got sound drops, Horse.
Yeah, for sure.
It's clean,
Everything you just
dude. Everything I just said. Mac is the way to go, Horse. Happy Monday. What's up, Jesus? What's up, dude? Thanks for being here. Grant, surprised Stephen A. Smith did not put Sacramento in his top 5 arena atmospheres. I don't care. You know what? I would say this, Jesus. You can't put Sacramento in the top 5 because they've hosted 4 games in almost 20 years. You can't. If you would have more games in a bigger sample size to go by, you can't do it. Now, if we're sitting here and we are objectively looking at the loudest arenas in the NBA, like that have had their noise measured, then yes, the Kings would be in the top 5, especially in the heyday, easily. I would say Arco Arena would be in the top 5 JR Mondays. Tristan's in rare form, as always. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why my chat was not doing that. Let's see. Just looked at the weather forecast and the A's schedule. The Brewers are going to fry on Wednesday. High of 99. I don't know about you. This is some people, you're either a summer person, you're a winter person. Me, I like the seasons, but give me the cold over the heat. I am like starting to kind of pseudo get some anxiety about what we're going to face. And if we're going to have the heat, please no humidity. Humidity is the worst. Audio is good. Appreciate that. No update. No update, Athena. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. I Athena, it's all love. I don't really get mad at you. Happy birthday. We used to have a King's Court happy birthday. Do we still have the happy birthday? Let me see, Athena. We might have a happy birthday shout out to you. I think we do. Yes. Here we go.
It's your birthday. Hey, hey, hey. It's your day. It's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. It's not Thursday. It's not Friday. It's not Saturday. It's not Thursday. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday, Athena. Everything Mike Tyson said.
For sure. Everything you just said.
Hope you have a good one. WrestleMania doesn't count. Grant was a big Stacey King fan. Yeah, I unfortunately did not get the chance to meet him. I did not grab the Motivation Monday. I was more focused on the grievances because I've got a couple of them. Lynn, our resident Spurs fan, paid a lot of money to see a Led Zeppelin reunion with 3 main guys and Jason on the drums. Okay, I got a question for you. It's not going to be a grievance, but it's a question. If a band is created with its original members, and then, I don't know, they have a falling out. Unfortunately, if somebody passes away, how can you replace people and call it the same band? I don't get it. Like Sublime, maybe, because it's a legacy thing. His son is now the front man. But see how Lynn has to lay out that it had 3 main guys? It's interesting. Like, are bands teams? You can sub them in, sub them out. IndyCar race was last night. Go Spurs, go. Does anybody see the Spurs getting off the mat tonight? I don't see it. I just don't. With the way the Knicks are on this run, they're so locked in. I was listening to OG Anunoby yesterday. And by the way, yesterday, the press conferences yesterday, you will have a grievance from those. But they're so locked in. He's talking about when you're that locked in, the guys know it, where it starts, how it builds. I mean, if I had to say nerves is going to get to one of the 2 teams tonight, you have to lean more towards the Spurs than you do the Knicks. The Knicks play 41 games in Madison Square Garden. Now, granted, the energy is not going to be what it is tonight, all 41 games of the season, but the energy in that building has been very high throughout the postseason. Thoughts on data centers? Never really thought about it. Data centers? It's like people mining your information, or like the cold calls when your phone rings and it's like projected spam, possible spam. Yeah, Mike Tyson. It was so nice of him to record that for us. That was really nice of him, for sure. Saw Page and Plant in 94, the Sacramento Symphony. All right. Fox is a big... Fox being hobbled is a big deal for the Spurs. Yeah, you're spot on, Dustin. It's a really big deal for the Spurs. When we get into exit interviews, we get into probably closer to podcast season when the guys start going on summer podcasts in between or on their breaks. You might hear a little more about that, but knowing the mindset of the Spurs, knowing the mindset of De'Aaron, short of anything that needs to be operated on, they'll probably keep it fairly mum. But that you have to wonder about that ankle because De'Aaron's biggest strength is his speed. We all know that. So as he's getting older, there were questions about the ankle at times here in Sacramento. Is it the shoes? Could that be part of my grievance? Maybe. We'll get to it later in the show. If you have one, you can let us know as well. But his ability to get to the hoop, yes, has been a little bit of an issue. And here's the other thing, Dustin. I don't know if it is the injury or if it is the Spurs saying, hey, we'd rather have the ball in Steph Castle's hands to facilitate the offense. But that's been a really interesting dynamic for me throughout the playoffs as we've gotten deeper into the playoffs. By the way, if you want to talk more about Game 2, we can talk about it as well because we have not been on since Game 2 here on the King's Court. Nick's bench has been an X factor. Yes, they have, for sure. Lynn, he's going to keep typing, go Spurs, go. The Spurs need to forget about Fox and play Harper more. Yeah, it's a conversation right now in San Antonio. You can't go away from Fox totally right now, but you definitely, as you come down the stretch, if Fox is not playing well, in my gauge for De'Aaron Fox playing well, usually defense is going to be pretty even. Defense is not going to be something, well, okay. I'm going to give you one caveat there with De'Aaron's defense. And this is not just a De'Aaron Fox thing. This is a Spurs thing as well. They get caught cheating too much defensively because they've got Victor Wembanyama behind them. And the other side of that coin is you have a couple of guys that are the best in the NBA at cheating and being able to, able to leave their guy and get back. Quietly, it's something the Knicks have done really well. I went back and watched Game 2, and they're doing what we call, or what the NBA calls, drop coverage on Wemby when he's at the top of the key, or he's outside the key, which he has been a lot. And what the drop coverage is on pick and rolls. So on the pick and rolls, you're going to go under the screen and you're going to leave him that space to shoot. But instead of just leaving him wide open space, the Knicks have sent Brunson over. They've sent Bridges over. They've sent Towns at times. Well, Towns is in the drop, so it's not Towns. OG Anunoby over, and you give him a bump. You send him offline. If he tries to come towards the key and you're in that drop coverage, that's where those guys are bumping him and knocking him off of his line. And that has been tremendous at slowing Wemby down. Lynn, you know what I'm talking about. But on the flip side of the court, with De'Aaron and the defense for the Spurs, they have not seen a team like New York. And the Thunder are a great team. They're the reigning champions. But they're not the same in New York in that all five guys can attack the rim. If you look at the Thunder, you've got guys that are spot shooters, SGA, dangerous. They've got a lot of marksmen on the Thunder. But the Knicks, all five can attack the rim. So De'Aaron's defense is okay, but the Knicks have been, the Spurs have gotten caught cheating way too many times in this series. And the Knicks are going to make you pay for it. Mike Brown has been tremendous with the schemes so far. The other side of that is the Knicks have shot the three ball really well. But I think the Spurs are at a point they cannot take chances defensively. The Knicks are shooting the three ball way too well. You can't give them that 4-on-5 advantage trying to get a steal and having a blow by. It's just not going to work out very well. So the spread tonight, depending on where you look, it's 1.5 in favor of New York. I think that's a fair line. I am going New York straight up tonight. I can't go against what they've done over the last couple months, the last 6 weeks. You look at some of the stats that they've, NBA records, really. Second longest single postseason winning streak in NBA history, best point differential over any 13-game playoff streak in NBA history, most dominant 12-game playoff stretch by margin of victory, plus 272. And I don't know what's going to really change. The two variables is, can Wemby get into the paint against this team? Have they found a nice little mix to stop him? Granted, he has not played these minutes that he has played in the postseason, and I think there's a little something to that. Grant won't subscribe to it, but Jerry and I subscribe to it. If you're the Knicks, the variable is the three-point shooting. That's what the Spurs have to hold on to. Can we get them, or at least take away some of those sprays? We'll see. It's going to be a big stage. This is going to be the biggest stage Wemby, Fox have ever played on in their careers. The finals has not been in New York since 1999. 27 years. Now, I will say this about the president being there. There's probably not a better city equipped to deal with that, because they're constantly dealing with dignitaries, and you've got the United Nations there. So it's not unnormal to have this kind of stuff, or have people in attendance at big games, more importantly, political events, whatever you want to call them. So hopefully it works out for everybody. Hopefully the focus is on the floor, although some probably will not keep the focus on the floor. No names mentioned. Stephen A. Smith, my man. We talked a little bit about the hockey series. Just tremendous. This has been an unpredictable, just stars in the making. Some of these players, if you look at the percentages at times, because I'm constantly looking at them on Prize Picks, the percentages where it says Vegas has a 99% chance of winning a game, and then it turns, and vice versa, have just been off the charts. So you've got a big game coming up tomorrow, the only Stanley Cup final series over the past 45 years to see each of the first 3 games decided by 1 goal. Margin, by the way, all overtime games. How about that? It's insane. Who you got? Is Vegas going to pull it out? I think it's going 7. I'm not paying attention to any statistics about teams that are down 2-1 in a series, because throw the stats out and the percentages out in this series. It's so erratic. It's so exciting. It is must watch. I am not an NHL guy during the regular season, but this finals, I always enjoy the Stanley Cup finals. This finals has it's set the bar. I can't remember a better one during my lifetime. Brendan Sorsby, we talked about this. Unbelievable. In the NCAA that we talked about last week as well. I don't know what to say. Mac asked me a question about Sac State and asked me a question about transfers and how a football team drafted, I believe it was the Niners, a player that played all of his college years at different schools. Like, what are we doing? Transfer portal, out of control. NIL, Wild West. I'm gonna say that's the Wild West, because there's some restrictions in place, but nobody's following anything. Why would you follow anything? The NCAA ruled Brendan Sorsby ineligible. Sorsby came clean. Sorsby said, and we're talking about Texas Tech, who is in the conversation for a national championship. We're talking about a team that was in the college football playoff last season. They're expected to be in the college football playoff this season now that Sorsby's back. What do you mean nobody watches hockey? Get out of here, Lynn. Lynn. Nobody watches hockey? Have you seen the ratings, Lynn? Lynn, I could go in on nobody watches IndyCar in America. That's funny. Don't make me turn clone, Lynn. I will turn clone in a second. Let's see. Who beat the Spurs for the NBA Cup this season? The Knicks. What's up, Patrick? Coming full circle. Patrick, dial us in. Is it just nuts right now? Ironically enough, the San Antonio Spurs. I see Lynn working. I see you working, Lynn. See, Las Vegas is finally listening. New York plays the Eastern Conference, which made it so easy to help pad those numbers. I'm not going to disagree that their path to the finals, I'm not going to disagree that their path to the finals was not much easier than the Spurs. But, Lynn, can you say the Spurs have been playing better basketball than the Knicks altogether right now? You know what, Lynn? Because I'm a good guy, I watched the press conferences yesterday. Why don't we check in with Mitch Johnson? Mitch Johnson yesterday, I liked what he had to say. He actually used this word, Lynn, and we'll get back to Brendan Sorsby. Lynn, the word that he used was they need to settle in to the series. They plan on settling in, which means the Spurs think that they're going to be here for 7 games. I mean, can they win 4 of 5 with 2 coming? 3 needing to come. No, 2 needing to come. In New York, I don't know, but I do like what Mitch Johnson had to say yesterday. Here's Mitch Johnson.
Effort to do that in these 2 upcoming games.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a stage now where the next game is going to be the biggest game until we're not playing. And we have to continue to execute and compete and finish plays and move on to the next play and understand that, you know, there are going to be circumstances, there are going to be outcomes throughout a game that may not go your way, and we have to continue to be better at the things that we can control and be better at the things that we can influence.
Christian, back right.
Christian went.
All true. You wonder how much experience is playing into this series. I'm serious. Is this that year that they need? Is this that LeBron Heat year, the first season, where they couldn't get over the hump? It might be. It might be. But again, Wemby's 22 years old. Ironically, LeBron was 22 years old when he lost those finals. Okay, let's get to, we have not done these for a minute. I'm going to try to work these in. If you have any, you can put them in the chat or you can call. QR code is on the screen. We are going to...
The airing of grievances.
Air some grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
The phone won't stop. I guess the phone has 3 grievances. The phone has a grievance with me. All right. Okay, so here's my grievance. And it has to do, and if you've been with the King's Court for a minute, it's not an original grievance. But it's getting out of control. That's not the screen we were looking for. This is the screen we were looking for. It's getting out of control. Yesterday, at De'Aaron Fox's press availability. And mind you, this is not media day where things are fun at the start of the season. This isn't NBA Finals media day where maybe you can go a little bit off the wall with your questions. Like, if you're credentialed to be in that building, you are a serious reporter. In fact, this is the only time that the NBA will allow certain national journalists to travel on the NBA jet back and forth from the various cities holding the finals. So you've got some cred. You have gone through some extensive background checks, etc., beyond what a local journalist needs to go through to be in that building. It's the best of the best. It's a handful of freaking journalists. You expect good questions. The players, they're at their peak level of competitiveness, trying to win a championship, locked in. So much so that even very good questions get like two-word answers, three-word answers. It happened all day yesterday. Some journalists have better relationships with players than others. If you have a San Antonio journalist, might be able to be a little more personal with the Spurs players. Same thing true of a New York journalist, like a Frank Isola or somebody from the Post. You might have a little bit more of an informal, you know each other's names. Hell, you might even have a cell phone number if you're lucky enough and the player trusts you. Okay? But there's kind of this code, and I've only been credentialed for a season, but there's kind of this code. You keep it professional. This is their workplace, and that's also our workplace. They have a duty to us, and we have a duty to them. If the player decides to like have a little bit of fun with you, then you can play along, right? That's cool. In fact, here's a perfect example. When Russell Westbrook came to Sacktown, I thought this was really fun of him. 2 days before, when the signing was announced, Malik Monk said that he was one of his favorite teammates ever to play with. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to bounce it off Russ. And this was I think, like the third question. So we're all kind of feeling out Russ too. Here's how it played out.
I don't know. Say it one more time.
One of his favorite teammates of all time. What are you looking to contribute off the court with the guys in the locker room, and especially the young guys?
Yeah, man, I think since I've been in this league, leadership is not just something that I'm fortunate that you guys see are on the floor, but my job, and I think one of my traits as a leader is to be able to learn about guys' journeys off the floor, how they got to this point, what inspired them, what pushes them, and I think being able to do that, and obviously I've known Malik since he was high school. He's worked out with me in college, and able to know his story allows me to be a better teammate, a better brother to my teammates, and I think to me that's what I look forward to most in any part of my journey. Being able to impact and inspire somebody daily is always my daily goal, to run into somebody and maybe I can inspire them to do something that they think they can do. So I look forward to doing that.
Love that. That's how Russ was all season. I've criticized him for his shot selection. I've criticized the Kings for mismanaging Russ, but I can't criticize him for being a great teammate. I can't criticize, in fact, I can't criticize him for being Russ. When you sign Russell Westbrook, you are getting the full Russell Westbrook season or experience. Whether it is coming off of his MVP season or it's coming into his 19th or 18th season, you're getting the Russell Westbrook experience. Therefore, it is on you to manage that correctly. It's on you to define roles. It's on you to make adjustments as an organization. If Russell Westbrook would have walked into 29 other locker rooms In the NBA, he would have had to adjust it to the team in the dynamic there. Instead, here in Sacramento, he became the team. The team had to adjust to Russ. It's not Russ's fault. You know what you're getting with him. So those that say, oh, well, can he play a Vince Carter role? No, he really can't. And why would he in his 19th season? Makes no sense. He's going to want to come back and play. And he played well at times. Just too many shots. He took the bait. But in that moment, when I asked him about that, he goes, wait, what'd you say? Repeat that again. And I said it again. He goes, oh, wait, I didn't hear you. One more time. So it's playful, okay? This yesterday, during the finals, De'Aaron's answering questions about shot selection, about defense, adjustments, right? And then you get this question. Check this one out.
Hi there, Eduardo from Babel. Perhaps not that much finals related, but more about you. How's your relationship been over the past year with everything with Under Armour, Curry brand, you switching perhaps the sneakers in the playoffs or debuting a new pair and stuff like that?
Man, I don't really have much to say about it, so at least not right now.
Credit to De'Aaron. Go watch the clip. First, De'Aaron's trying not to, kind of smirk, or it appears that way to me, and then he shuts it down immediately. I wish there were cameras on the press. I wish there was cameras on whoever is the communications director for these press conferences in the finals, because that dude who asked that question probably needs to buy a new suit because somebody stared a hole through it. Again, we've done this 13 times. How to get your credential revoked.
Hi there, Eduardo from Babel. Perhaps not that much finals related, but more about you. How's your relationship been over the past year with everything with Under Armour, Curry brand, you switching perhaps the sneakers in the playoffs or debuting a new pair and stuff like that?
Oh, hey, De'Aaron. My name's Eduardo from a publication that I've never heard of. And, it's the NBA Finals. This is anticipated to be the biggest game in the last 20 years in the NBA. Madison Square Garden, the president. But hey, De'Aaron, let's act like De'Aaron. You know me, man. We're good. Remember? We go way back. I asked you a question 7 years ago, and you gave me a 4-word response. We've got that relationship. So, De'Aaron, do me a favor, man. Why don't you let me in on the biggest secret of what's going on with the Curry brand that just signed with a new shoe maker and a new brand? And that was your first signature deal with the Curry brand. So where's that leave you, De'Aaron? Come on, man. This is stuff that best friends talk about. I would not feel comfortable asking De'Aaron Fox that on a podcast. I would not feel comfortable asking De'Aaron Fox that off the freaking record, let alone at the NBA Finals. How does one village idiot make it in to every press room? And go ahead, 1320, go ahead, whoever likes to knock people down, call me the village idiot that was in the press room this year. Guess what? I think I asked some really good questions. In fact, I know I asked some really good questions, and I asked some questions that none of you would ask. But when it comes to the NBA Finals, come on. What are we doing? That's my grievance. How? That's a valuable piece of real estate. Read the damn room. The players are giving very, very, very brief answers because they are that locked in. They are that sore. They are that tired. They're on edge, ready to get back on the court. You're going to ask that? Come on. Credit to De'Aaron, though, man. De'Aaron.
Yeah, for sure. Everything you just said.
Good job, De'Aaron. Good job. De'Aaron could have undressed him. De'Aaron could have said next question. De'Aaron handled that very well. But that dude should not be back in the room. How do you put that guy back in the room? Come on. How do you do that? I just don't know how. Okay. Lynn's coming at me with IndyCar. IndyCar's North American-based series is the same two countries that the NHL is into. Fair enough. Okay, you're giving me a lot of IndyCar. Hockey will have advantage because there is only one 500. Well, the Stanley Cup is the best of 7. Okay, you know what? Can anybody besides Lynn name like the second biggest race in IndyCar? Maybe it's the Brickyard. Is that an IndyCar race? Stanley Cup ratings, 4.7. Yeah, but that's like this. Okay. Lynn, if that's your Super Bowl and it's 6.635 in the Stanley, which is a minimum of 4 games, is 4.7. Then I think I might have a little ground on you. Paul, Ryno, speculation the Niners will trade the 27th first pick, 28th second pick, and Mikael Williams for Max Crosby. Thoughts all the way around. I don't like it. I mean, if I'm the Niners, sure, I love it. Getting Max Crosby. Financially, can the Niners swing that, Paul? Because you're not trading a big salary. What's Mikael Williams make? It's not like Brock Purdy. It's not like Brandon Ayuk, who apparently has a warrant out for his arrest last time I checked for speeding by Levi's Stadium over 100 miles an hour. What was it, like 3 months ago? I think it was Super Bowl week. That's what it was. It was Super Bowl week. Damn. Took 2 to 3 months to get that warrant out. Is there that much investigation that needed to go into that? Do you even hit Brandon Ayuk with the cell phone violation? You better hit him with that cell phone violation because you know anybody in here gotten a cell phone violation before? I got a cell phone violation adjusting my phone on the holder. Yes. In the officer, which by the way, this is an officer-friendly show. I support law enforcement. I support anybody that runs into trouble when most of us run away from it. I have all the respect in the world for you. But don't gaslight me when you pull me over and tell me, oh, well, it's not a moving violation and it's not a big deal. You haven't had one before. It's only like $29. Crickets. He hit me with a moving violation and it was $149. Come on. Back to the trade. If I'm Vegas, I really like the momentum that's there right now. I do. It's much different than the momentum that was in that building when the Raiders decided to send Max Crosby home. For whatever reason, when you trade somebody and the trade does not go through, I'll use Dalton Connect as a really good example of that for the Lakers. It usually doesn't end well. Like Dalton Connect got garbage minutes at the end of games this season. But with Crosby and the Raiders, it feels different. It feels like there's a second wind there. Maybe a refurb on that relationship. Now you've got Mendoza, you got Cousins, you've got their awesome stepbrothers photos. That was great. Good job, Raiders.
Yeah,
tell me,
for sure.
Tell me you would not buy a shirt with Cousins and Mendoza like that. It's so good. And I love that they are embracing who they are. Like they're football nerds. That's what that they are. I'm a basketball nerd. They're football nerds. That's their thing. I think the Raiders should be holding on to Crosby right now. You tell me what you think. You missed the grievances. Well, we have a couple more. I need your grievances as well, if you have any. Go Spurs go, going to Cancun. The Thunderdome was loud, but the Thunderdome was not what this is going to be tonight. My guy Tay, let's get the link in there for you. Glad you're tuning in with us here on the King's Court. Appreciate you. Monday grievances. We've still got the NCAA and the Brendan Sorsby discussion to get to. If we can also get there, we'll talk about the latest with the Kings and a lot more coming out in regards to would the Kings trade up, Domantas Sabonis, additional stuff out there. Nothing new. If you've been watching this show, I have been saying it for a very, very good 3 weeks, 4 weeks since we've been off Fox, that was going to be number one, that Domas would not suit up in a Kings uniform next year, in my opinion. And teams around the NBA, I believe, according to Evan Sidery, have him right up there amongst, right behind Giannis as players available heading into the draft. Mendoza is not starting. No, he is not. Which is smart. I'm with that. Not thrilled with the idea of trading Crosby. Yeah, I don't see it. And what the Ravens did, that was dirty. Super dirty. Ryno, that was a report from ESPN, not anything in the works yet, just speculation. You're also kind of at that weird time when, okay, yo, Icebox, box, lay off Lynn, yo. Lynn's a staple around here. You know how, like, some of us, like you, Icebox, like wrestling? Well, Lynn's thing is the Indy 500 and Indy racing and F1. Lynn has to sit through the wrestling segment. We can sit through a couple of Indy car questions. It's a good wrestling segment last week. Tay, did you get the link? The link is in the chat if you would like to call. Again, the De'Aaron Fox question. Come on. What are we doing? You can't do that. You can, but you deserve to have your credential revoked. Come on. It just cannot happen. Cannot happen. I had something really weird, by the way, happen over the weekend. So I randomly got a second copy of my title to my vehicle in the mail, the pink slip. I already have one. Should I be concerned? Is this a scam? Is it a real pink slip? Is somebody trying to get my pink slip? That was weird. Didn't rise to the level of grievances, but that caught me a little bit off guard. Like, why are you sending me another pink slip? Makes no sense. Like, what if somebody got the mail? They could have signed the car over to themselves. What if that, and I don't know if this happens with you, but in our neighborhood, mail gets put in the wrong boxes all the damn time. So, anyways, okay. One other grievance for you today. This one will be quick. It's not that complicated. We'll try not to play this as much. But here's my second grievance.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Did the NBA let Vivek Ranadive take over social media for NBA communications this weekend? This really confused me. This was a legit post, from... There's Vivek for you. It's It's a legit post from NBA Communications. Notable names at NBA Finals Game 2. Did I need to know Lance Armstrong was at the game? Pretty sure everybody's known Patrick Ewing, Chamellet, Ginobili were at the game. Okay, if this is a who's who of people at NBA Finals games, is ex-Sacramento King George Hill really making that list? I like George Hill. I like how he played the game. But is he making that list? I mean, Spike Lee, and don't argue with me about Jeremy Piven. Ari Goldstein, one of the best characters of all time on Entourage. He makes the list. But what are we doing with this list? Unlike the NBA, this is something that Vivek Ranadive will come out with. Like notable B-list celebrities attending Kings games in the next 6 weeks. 50 Cent. 2 minor league baseball players. Travis Scott wearing a James Harden jersey. Like, what are we doing? The Stokes twins? Who are the Stokes twins? Jaren Jackson Jr.? Senior. Excuse me. Big Shot Bob? You're going to kick us in the package with Big Shot Bob? What are we doing here? Like, what is the NBA trying to get across? Adam. What's going on?
The physical, grinding of
like Adam. Are you going to be Adam? Are you going to be putting out a list for Game 3, the biggest game in a while?
I want to let it marinate a bit.
All right, he's going to let it marinate. What are we, NBA? Can you remember the last time the NFL or any other league, like this isn't, again, this is not from a fan that watched the broadcast or a reporter that was at the game. This is NBA freaking communications. Come on, do better. What are we doing? You've got a great finals going on. You don't need to list the celebrities that are in attendance. And by the way, Vivek Ranadive is looking at this list and he's wondering what he has to do to get any one of those people, even George Hill, at a future Kings game. It's just too much. How does it happen? How the heck does that happen? Come on. Do better. Is this the Knicks fan channel?
New York Knicks run New York City!
Bing bong.
Tell me a little something, KD. Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? New York Knicks run New York City!
Vivek has some work to do for Celebrity Row. I don't see Gary Vee on that list. He's going to be there. No, Haunted Horse. This is a list of people that were at Game 2. Can you imagine the list that's going to be there tonight? There's no way they're going to do that again. You know what? Icebox, I think there's a lot of people that are on the phone with Danhausen.
Let me finish. I was going to say, you are cursed.
I think there's a lot of people that want Danhausen at games. What's up, Daniel? Happy Monday, my man. Getting you ready for the Knicks and the Spurs. Which way is everybody going? Okay. Hey, Horse, aren't you like debuting a new studio tonight at 5:00? going up against the NBA Finals. If you want to check out Horse's new studio, go check it out tonight, 5 o'clock, HollywoodRejects.com. This channel does not condone anything that happens on that channel. I actually, you know what? I could get myself in trouble, but I'm not going to overshare about something that happened last night because it is, yeah, we'll just leave it there. I do want to hit this really quick. Again, we were talking about this before. Heard on the radio this morning, Donald Trump will be at the game. He's not on the list. Yeah, that was the list for game 2, but you are correct. He will be there tonight.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
He will be there tonight. Lynn, will he be saying this to your Spurs?
Go home to mommy.
Is that what he's going to be saying tonight? Yep, the remodel's almost done. There you go. Okay, let's talk about Brendan Sorsby really quick. I think this is an important story. I think it's a super important story. If you were with us last week, we came down hard. I came down very hard on the NCAA. If you've been with us for the last year, I have been very, very critical of what college sports has turned into. Here's the thing. I am not against, and it has nothing to do with athletes getting paid. I am for that. But when Matt calls up this show and says, what do you think about a power conference? And it's basically going to be the pro teams, and then the rest of the NCAA is going to be like kind of the mid-major teams. We've lost all control. I thought we had lost control. This transfer portal, where there were thousands and thousands and thousands of athletes, topped by Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech quarterback, who I want to give credit to, because this is a place that I have said, you know, when it comes to mental health, addiction, all of those things, we support those that are battling something. We stand by you, and y'all stand by me. Brendan Sorsby bet, not just once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, like over 3, 4, 5,000 times on his team, other college teams, clear cut. And I give Brendan credit because he came forward, said as much. He copped to it. Brendan Sorsby came out and said, I have a gambling addiction. I gambled. I broke the golden rule. I gambled on my team. I never gambled against my team, but I gambled on my team, amongst other things that I gambled on. He went to treatment. Comes back. Seeks to be eligible again. Yes, eligible. You want to talk about credibility? Even for the NCAA, that had a whisker of credibility left. A whisker. You're thinking there's no way some college kid that's the number 1 prospect in the transfer portal, even with how out of whack college sports are right now, there's no way some kid that came forward and admitted to his gambling addiction will be playing football again this season. Well, he was ruled ineligible by the NCAA. No brainer, right? Sorsby and his team, backed by some Texas Tech boosters, filed for an injunction. What do you think happened? So Sorsby filed a civil lawsuit against the NCAA on May 18th, 2026. It was heard today. June 8th. Or actually, no, it was heard last week, June 1st. The injunction, the judge's ruling, came out today. And guess what? Judge Ken Curry of the Lubbock County District Court has granted a temporary / preliminary injunction against the NCAA. There goes that whisker of credibility that was left. The NCAA is immediately, this is the summarization of said injunction. The NCAA is immediately blocked from enforcing its permanent ineligibility ruling against Sorsby for the 2026 season. Sorsby is allowed to practice, play, and fully participate with Texas Tech football this fall. He must sit out the first 2 games. Oh my gosh. The first 2 games, what are they going to do? They've got 2 monsters, Abilene Christian and Oregon State. Those 2 games were a self-proposed suspension compromise. He is eligible, or he becomes eligible, for the Big 12 opener on September 18th versus Houston and the rest of this season. This is not a final ruling on the merits of the case. The full lawsuit continues. All right. So, we're going to get into this because we talked about it last week. This is classic Brendan Sorsby, going to play the entire year for Texas Tech. Yeah. Right? So Sorsby, who's going to play the entire year for Texas Tech, and he issued this statement. I'm very grateful for the endless support I have received throughout this entire process. I am also grateful for the chance to rejoin my teammates. This opportunity comes with the responsibility to remain focused on my personal growth, the ability to learn from my experience, and to be able to use my situation to help others going forward. Brendan Sorsby. Love it. No issue with it. Great. Hope he follows through with the back end of that stuff. Here's the NCAA statement for you. The NCAA strongly disagrees with the court's ruling in Sorsby's case and is deeply concerned about the damaging, far-reaching, and broadly disabling ramifications of this outcome, which undermines and corrupts the integrity of sports. The NCAA is committed to supporting student-athlete mental health, but must continue to aggressively defend against the actions that defraud college athletics and threaten competitive integrity, such as betting on one's own sport. Holy bleep. Yo, NCAA. Remember Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss's quarterback, who had a heck of a run? He asked for an extra year. He petitioned, but he couldn't get an extra year because you didn't think the injury qualified. You have 0 leg to stand on, NCAA. And guess what? This is going to be another case of what I've talked about before, of the NCAA wasting money that should be going to the institutions and to the players. It's going to be an exact case of this again, because this will continue well into Brendan Sorsby playing into the NFL. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to get a little breaking news. The NCAA, and this is 2 years from now, has announced a 10-year show cause ban for Brendan Sorsby if he ever intends to return to college athletics, which at this point you can basically do in basketball because you can play in the G League and then come back and play in college. He's going to have to show cause or sit out those 10 years. till he can play for Texas Tech again, even though he was on the all-rookie team last season in the NFL. Like, this is how ridiculous we are getting. If this is not the end of the NCAA, I don't know what is. The NCAA, I've always said, is basically, you know what? I'm going to add something to the basically. They are an event planner and de facto property manager. That's what they are. That's all they do. They put on the NCAA tournament, they collect the TV revenue, and they kick the money out. And oh yeah, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on bullshit lawsuits that they know in 2 seconds can be stopped with an injunction. This is not the first case of schools seeking injunctions. This isn't even a surprise that the judge ruled in Sorsby's favor. The NCAA knew that it's headed there. The NCAA is putting up this smoke and mirrors campaign publicly. Like they are the conscience of college sports, yet they open the floodgates for the transfer portal. Yet they have players who openly admitted to making thousands of bets, including on their own team, playing this season. Blow it up. It's done. If I am a college program, I am no longer listening to the NCAA. I can break whatever rule I want to break. Unless the conferences are going to push back on me, whichever conference I'm in, you can do what you want. Here's what you do. You get rid of the NCAA altogether. You turn their offices into a museum of their greatest hits. That's what you should do. Turn it into a museum. You know what you could do? You could have an entire wing of Heisman trophies that they have taken from players because they received some benefit. There'd be more Heisman trophies in their museum than there are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's how many there would be. And next to that Heisman trophy, why don't you put a copy of the check that you sent to the winner last year or this year, the back payment for their services? Because, yeah, if you didn't know, there was a big settlement where athletes going back, I forget the year, are being compensated for playing. So you've got a whole wing there. You could make up a replica model of Reggie Bush's house when he played at USC that people can tour. You know, the house that took away those national championships from Reggie Bush. Pretty famous house. That USC run. Pretty damn legendary. Who wouldn't want a tour of such a hallowed house? This was the NCAA's greatest hits. Tell you what, this museum's probably going to take a while to get through, so you're going to need a snack bar. But instead of a full snack bar, why don't you just make it a bagel spot, NCAA? Bagels and butter. That's all you have. Bagels and butter. You can bring whatever you want into the building, vapes, alcohol, whatever, but you better not have peanut butter in your pocket. Because if you have peanut butter in your pocket, that's it. You can't come in this museum. Bagels and butter. You can have an entire transfer portal wing. You could have a Harbaugh wing. It's a joke. The ethical thing to do if you're the NCAA, is sit this one out. Don't spend the money. Sit it out. And Horst gets to exactly what I was going to get to. And I said it last week. The feds, courts are already taking into account in their rulings that the NCAA as an entity violates federal antitrust laws. This is the end of the NCAA. This is where the conferences are now holding all of the power. The NCAA might hold the money, but that doesn't give them the power. They're going to act like they have power and spend millions of dollars fighting this Sorsby thing that will be dragged out long beyond Brendan Sorsby's season at Texas Tech. It's embarrassing. I mean, the NCAA, they were losing control of the vehicle. They really were. Like, the wheel was shaking before COVID. Post-COVID, the wheel fell off. It's crazy. Money does not always equal power. College football, and here's the other thing. Let me say this too. I was thinking about this when I was reading about the story. When you think of the NCAA, what's the number one thing that we think about? At least me, I think about the NCAA tournament. It's like the signature event. Heck, NCAA tournament. Do me a favor. Every selection Sunday, when we're sitting there with our fingers crossed that our alma mater or our team will be included in the field of, what is it now? Like 128 that the NCAA just decided to expand. We always end up hearing about the committees and the committee chair and these people that sit and they have their critiques, they have their formulas, they pick the teams that are going into the tournament ultimately. And when I sat back and thought about it, almost every single time when you hear from a chairman of the selection committee, it's never an employee of the NCAA. It's an athletic director at some college. The NCAA isn't even selecting the teams for the tournament. It's conference ADs, conference directors, school ADs. So once again, the power is with the conferences. That's it. Like, there is no speed limit. If an NCAA cop pulls you over or tries to pull you over, just pedal it. Put the pedal to the floor. They have no recourse or jurisdiction to take any more action. They're done. It worked for a while. Big bad NCAA. And trust me, I went through all of it. I went through the classes. I went through the paperwork at San Diego State. I saw like how serious everything was. They were the big bad wolf. You had to be careful of this, careful of that. There was a training about even meeting people in public. And did you know if they just hand you this, that can be considered a violation? Like at one time, they held that much power, yet they were powerless. Nothing's changed except their bad decisions. That age is done. It's over. You got to get rid of them. I don't know if when Mac talked about like a super league or whatever it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be that. What I do know is eventually, because some of these conferences are already directly in talks and have their own networks with different broadcast carriers, Longhorns Network, etc. Does UNC have a network? I feel like they do. Maybe they don't. They're already negotiating with the people. It's done. So we'll see. I would doubt the Big 12 is going to go against this. My guess is the Big 12 commissioner was in on these talks, which is exactly why Sorsby is going to sit out against, oh my gosh, mark your calendar. Mark your calendar. Dude, so strict. Seriously, mark your calendar. Like, start planning the party for this game. It's massive. September 5th, Texas Tech, Abilene Christian. Holy crap. Damn. Then he'll be out against Oregon State. Come on. What are we doing? A wrestling segment would be more interesting than the NCAA talk. Lynn's just putting go Spurs after everything. No speed limit. Neither do we. Sign Georgia. Well done. Well done. Very well done. I got to give you that one. Very, very.
You don't get the show.
No, he gets the show. Well done. Very, very well done. All right. So who you taking tonight? If you are still here, who you got? You go Knicks? Are you going Spurs? Grant and I back tonight to talk about it at we'll be on about 8:30 tonight. So looking forward to that. Oh, your wife, Lynn, wanted to let me know. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Mrs. Lynn. Go Spurs, go. No solicitation sign at his front door means no trespass, even if you are a friend wishing him out of town. Like Dino. Yeah, Haunted Horse is kind of a celebrity. Yeah, I'm with Horse. I'm going Knicks tonight. Going Knicks. Yeah, I'm 2 for 2 on that too. Yeah, I think the Knicks make it 3-0. I said on Friday night with Grant that I thought this will be a sweep. I don't think it will be. I think the Knicks might have a letdown in Game 4, and it'll be a gentleman. Well, does that open the door for another Spurs win? Sweep or gentleman sweep? I don't know. I'm torn, but I do know they will win tonight. So, all right, I think we're about to get out of here. We'll be on. Oh yeah, this was your last grievance. I just found this kind of funny. So last night, the NCAA baseball tournament. Oh, there's another one. The NCAA baseball tournament. It was Oregon and Texas, but they put Santa Barbara into the box. Santa Barbara. Interesting. Santa Barbara. yo, ESPN, the Gauchos don't need any extra reason to party. DP, always packed. You don't need to give them a shout out. They're going to party the same. So just let it be. But like, was it an inside joke? Like, they must have been pranking somebody. It must have been an inside joke with producers. But win at San Antonio in Game 5. Yeah, I was that's what I was thinking about, like a gentleman's sweep. Thinking the same thing. Knicks might choke Game 4. Yeah, it feels like that. Like the big up tonight. Yeah. So we'll see. Grant and I will talk about it tonight at 7 o'clock. Looking forward to it. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back here, Kings Court, tomorrow. A lot more to talk about, break down the basketball game, and whatever else is topical in the news. Let me double check my email before we go off to see if the Kings are going to have any more workouts tomorrow. Yep, we do. All right, so tomorrow the Kings are going to be working out. Tameen Lipsy, Iowa State, guard. Jacoby Gillespie, Tennessee Volunteers, guard. Javon Hadley, Louisville, forward. Javon Porter, Missouri, forward. Giovanni Emajuri, East Carolina, center. And Ernest Uday, Miami, Florida, center. So those are going to be your Kings workouts tomorrow. Mikel Brown Jr., there's a report going around that he is not going to be doing any more post or pre-NBA workouts. However, I believe it was the Clippers and somebody else, Clippers and Memphis, off the top of my head, that he does plan to meet with. Sometimes that's an indication that a team has made a commitment. But what I would say about that is, look, commitments can happen. Like if a team loves a guy, like, I don't know, say San Antonio when they had the first pick and Wemby was available. But this is kind of like the smoke and mirrors time where teams are playing liar's dice. Teams are putting up the smoke signals on who they like, who they don't like. I still find it very, very difficult to believe that the Kings would move up right now. I'm not Scott Perry. I am not a scout, but I don't know that Darius Acuff is the talent to move up for. Like, is he that guy? If the Kings think that, like, that would be a very, very big statement to all of you. In fact, that would almost double the pressure on whoever the Kings draft this season if you move up from 7 to get them. And then my question would be, if you're going to move up, why not try to get into the top 3 or 4? Not saying those teams would play ball. Washington said they would play ball, reportedly, about the first pick. Utah's not moving. If anybody's going to move to 1, my guess is it would be Utah to get DeMonsa. Memphis is going to be in the market for a point guard. A lot of talk about Memphis really liking Acuff as well, possibly as a Morant replacement. I just don't see them moving up. What do they have to offer to move up? Future picks. Future picks. You know, I would be looking... There's not a... Maybe Washington? No. You know, Haunted Horse, your Trailblazers have been somewhat tied to Anthony Davis if they can't get Giannis, which I find very interesting. Oh, Lynn's wife is in the house. There you go. Good stuff. They move up from 7 to 5. We'll have to pay more. Just saying, for a team that is over first apron. When it comes to the aprons, I'm going to preface this because the 4 is a 7. This was made before the draft lottery. You can do the math. Like, I know Bobby Marks pointed out, you could come up with a deal, buy out with DeMar DeRozan. Precious won't be back. You're not going to be chasing him. You can not pick up the guarantee on Killian Hayes. There's just not really a lot of there's no way to really get around Domas or Zach. I don't think you can nickel and dime your way. Yeah, I did the math a couple of weeks ago on the show, actually. I don't think that I just don't that you're gonna tippy toe around this to be in an apron. I don't know that you could really tippy toe around this and be out of an apron. Even if you don't move up, if you have Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis both on the roster. I just don't see it. You can't have them both on the roster. You're not going to stretch Zach LaVine. It makes no sense to stretch Zach LaVine because he's off the books at the end of this year, and this is not a year that you're going to compete. I think there's going to be a fairly competitive, and understand when I say competitive, that is not saying like most of the league. My definition of competitive when I'm talking about a market is maybe 2 to 4 teams that are interested in value. A guy like Domas, I really think Domas is going to be the second targeted player after, I've said this before, after Giannis. Could you come to a buyout with that? No, it doesn't make sense. No. So we kind of did the math on this. It would not make sense to do a negotiated buyout with Zach LaVine because all of that money would still be guaranteed against the cap. Whereas if you did that with DeMar DeRozan, I think you're only getting about a $10 million hit because his contract's not fully guaranteed this season. Yeah, this season is not going to start with Domantas Sabonis. And short of the only way that this season would start with Domantas Sabonis on it, and this is strictly my opinion, is if you get Zach LaVine not to opt in. The only leverage really that I see with that with Zach LaVine is telling him he's not going to play. If Zach LaVine hit the open market right now, I don't think he would get anything more, maybe a tad bit more than what Malik Monk gets a year. I just don't think that money is there in this open market. So is it worth it to him to go someplace where he can play and take a $20 million haircut? I don't think so. Which, again, puts me back to Sabonis. So This thing is just, again, unless you really believe like Acuff is the future of the Sacramento Kings, not just a starter, I mean like the future of the Kings, it seems like a weird time to move up or try to move up for a player with so much else in the air. Crazy. But we'll know here in just about a week and a half. Paul, but then again, with the new lottery rules, maybe you do go for it now. You can. Okay, first off, this team, as long as this team does not have the same injuries as last season, there's no way they're going to be as bad as they were last season. If injuries are average to your stars, then this team will easily be, what did they win this year? Was it 19? 19 that the Kings won? Off the top of my head. Let's check. I think it was 19. $22. Excuse me. Okay. I think the Kings will at least, if injuries are even, the Kings will at least win 30 games next season. You're going to have a better Max Ryno. You're going to have a pick. I don't know about DeRozan, although I would do my best to keep DeRozan. Like, if I had to pick one ISO guy to be amongst this group, it would be DeRozan. This is going to, I just me, I love this kind of stuff. The chess that you have to kind of play and manipulate as a franchise, the minutia, looking at the different options to get under the cap, looking at average salaries, what you think you can predict the open market value to be of players. I love all that stuff. Like the stuff that front offices do, I can't get enough of it. I'm a basketball sicko when it comes to that. But this is just such an interesting case with what they have on the books. The Hunter deal is what makes it. The Hunter deal is what took it over the top, but I understand, the Hunter deal may have been the writing on the wall that they were moving on from Domas. When you take on what you did for Hunter, now the back end of that with Hunter is you're condensing basically Dennis Schroeder's 3-year contract into 2 years. What you paid Hunter and Schroeder last year and what you pay Hunter this year, because he's off the books at the end of this year. There's not going to be a ton of value for Devin Carter. In fact, Devin Carter would probably be somebody that's, much as you saw Davion tagged along as the cost of dumping salary, that's probably what Devin Carter is going to be. Because if you're dumping salary last season, it was a second-round pick that you were typically giving up. Yeah. I'm looking at the chessboard and the obvious move, and I hate it. I love Domas. I really appreciate the type of player Domas is and what he's done for Sacramento. But the key there is you cannot, the power from this owner when it comes to the massive decisions, what I classify as massive, are trading a star player, trading one of your most valuable players, making coaching changes. That cannot remain with this owner, because the last two decisions, the way you handed Fox to San Antonio, and before that, fired Mike Brown, directly came from Vivek and those around him that are not employed. Well, I shouldn't say aren't employed, but those around him, you can't have that on this third decision. Just can't. Can't happen. Hunter pickup is interesting. Didn't mind, considering these type of wings around the league are limited. Yeah. It does kind of line up. And again, we're spitballing. This is nothing that is on the record. This is nothing I have heard from anybody connected to the Kings. We are working through an equation and throwing scenarios out there. But if I look at when that deal went down, I look at how Max and Dylan were playing. I'm looking at how little Sabonis played. I'm also looking at the fact that the beginning of the season in training camp, we heard that they were putting in all this stuff for Domantas Sabonis to use him better. And when the season started, it looked like the offense was actually trying to freeze him out. That might have been the point. That might have been where the decision was made to move on. Because I don't know that he really screams like he's a Scott Perry guy. If you look at what Scott Perry likes at that position, based off of the limited knowledge that we have of Scott Perry's decisions here in Sacramento, and then looking past behind us when he's been with other organizations. So, all right, we'll continue things tomorrow. Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy the basketball game. Come back to us after the game. Grant and I will be here right afterwards to break this one down for you. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Grant, Ryno, tonight here about 8:30. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me vent off my grievances. Don't forget, Jerry Reynolds Wednesday coming up in just about 36 hours. Looking forward to that. And yeah, we'll talk to you tonight after the end of the Knicks and the Spurs, which should be a heck of a scene for Madison Square Garden. Court is dismissed for the day.